Hello, darlings. Welcome back to another episode of Thriller Video Thursday. It's your boy Jingle. Thank you so much for hanging out. For those of you that don't know, every Thursday I review one of my Thriller Video Elvira VHS tapes. We are now on episode 15, and it's crazy to think that we've gone through 15 of these already. Now, last Thursday, I didn't get a chance to upload a video because it was my daughter's birthday. So, you guys are getting a double feature this week. I will be showcasing these big box tapes at the end of this video. But before we get into it, please remember to like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you're interested in more horror content or if you like Elvira as much as I do, stay tuned because I have a lot more on the way. But let's get into it. So, both of these thriller video movies we are talking about today are both from the Hammer's House of Horror series. It was an 80s anthology television series in the UK, and these were both released in 1980, and they were both directed by Peter Sasdy. He is best known for Taste the Blood of Dracula. He also did Visitor from the Grave, which is one of the other thriller videos that we've reviewed, and it did not do so hot on this list, let me tell you. So this has Denholm Elliott in it, who I recognize from Indiana Jones, and I also recently saw him in one of the newer Vinegar Syndrome 4Ks called Brimstone and Treacle. This also has James Lawrenson in it from Matilda and the Monster Club, which was another thriller video movie that we watched, and it was one of my favorites. I absolutely love that one. So, Rude Awakening is about a real estate broker named Norman, and he begins having a very real and vivid dreams, and he finds himself wondering what is real and what is a dream. He goes to inspect a house, and there's a dead body that falls out of a closet, and a knight's armor starts moving at him, like while there's really eerie music playing. And the whole time I was just thinking, like, what is this? Scooby Doo? Is this the Black Knight from Scooby Doo? So that turns out to just be a dream. But it's also something that's really weird about this episode is it has a situation similar to Brimstone and Treacle with like this like sexual tension between him and like his secretary or assistant or whatever. So his dreams start spilling into his reality, and his wife keeps accusing him of affairs with his assistants, but we haven't really seen anything go down. And I don't blame him because the assistants are total babes, and he's been like asking his wife for a divorce all through this movie. So I don't even understand why she'd be so upset. They need to just call it quits. Um, his dreams end up driving him mad, and he suffocates his wife. And like I said, he wanted a divorce anyway, so it's all good in my opinion. And what's really trippy is towards the end they end up mentioning that the day that he kills his wife on is Friday the 13th, and we have Friday the 13th tomorrow, and it's the third one this year. I actually had one of my buddies tell me how crazy it was that there was like 3 Friday the 13ths in the last like 7 or 9 months. I can't remember what he said, but he said that it said that that was like a 0.01% chance of ever happening. So that's a really interesting fact. The ending of this one with Elvira is the best by far. She's having like this dream of being in an award ceremony, and she wins Best Actress, and then it like spills into real life, and she's like sleeping on her host chair, like tugging at a blanket, acting like it's like an Oscar or a Grammy or whatever. But that was really fun. So overall, this one was one of the weaker ones. I was really hoping it would be more of a horror theme to it, but it was not at all. Let's check out the box. Actually, this artwork is one of my favorite artworks that I've seen on them so far, and the ending of this one kind of lifted it up a little bit for me, but it still was probably in the bottom 3 or 4 that we've done overall. So this is Rude Awakening. I absolutely love this cover art with like the monster crawling clawing at the floor. And this is so misleading because there is no monster in this or anything. It would have been so much better with that. So that is the front. On the back, we have the severed hand offering Elvira some popcorn. So this is starring Denholm Elliott and James Lawrenson. Says, my nerves, I just woke up and did I have a strange dream? You see, I dreamt I had this date with this guy named Norman who took me to some place called the Bates Motel. Geez, what a psycho. But seriously, people, Miss Elvira's weird dreams don't hold a candle to what happens to this old lech in Rude Awakening. You see, he keeps having these Mondo Bizarro dreams about killing his wife and running off with this trampy broad named Lolly. No, her last name isn't Pop. Anyway, kids, like I always say, and it goes double with this film, unpleasant dreams. So that's a really cool cover. Overall, the film was pretty weak, though, in my opinion. Like I said, it's probably one of my bottom ranked ones that I've seen. So that was Rude Awakening. And like I said before, guys, these are like hour long episodes. So there's not a whole lot to say about them, especially when there's not much going on. Like I said, these two were pretty big letdowns to me so far for these. So next we have the 13th Reunion. Like I said before, this was also directed by Peter Sazdy as well, and it's a Hammer's House of Horror episode that was released in 1980. This one is about a reporter named Ruth, and she works for the women's section of a magazine, and her boss tasks her with participating in a 10-week weight loss course, and in her investigations, she finds some dark and macabre secrets. So the opening monologue of this one is really funny. I just love Elvira's like cheesy one-liners. She says that she's the girl who puts the bra back into Bravo, which I absolutely love that. So right at the beginning of this one, Ruth's boss is forcing her to go to this place to do the 10-week long weight loss course, and she does not want to, and it skips right to her being in that. And right off the bat, when she gets there, there's this poor lady that is just getting fat shamed in front of a big crowd of people, and it's brutal. She's in tears. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on in this one till the very end. It doesn't really have any horror themes whatsoever. I think that's why these are so low on my list. There's this guy that Ruth has a love interest with, and on his way home from their date, he loses control of his car. This happens so much in these UK horror films or episodes. It has to be a big thing there, like a big like fear there for or something. I don't know. It's really funny too because then after that happens, Elvira comes in, it cuts to her and she talks a little bit and she says that guy you saw was Head and Shoulders and now he's just going to be Shoulders. I absolutely love her cheesy one-liners. So after that, Ruth and an investigator think there's something really weird going on with this place, and they start investigating around and stuff, and they find a coffin with a dead body in it from the weight loss program. So there's definitely something weird going on here. This one did not really hold my attention too well. I don't know if I missed something, but I didn't really understand what was going on at all. There is a really big shock at the end, but overall it just fell super flat for me. I really like the ending of this one as well when Elvira comes back in. This is another ending that's really good, and it's one of the better ones that I've seen. But over to the movie or episode just wasn't great. She ends up saying when those people said they were having guests for dinner, they meant they were having guests for dinner. But yeah, I love her monologues and endings when she comes in and talks about stuff like that. But this one was probably in my bottom three. So we had the double feature from this week. They were just not great. I'm super excited for the one we're going to be talking about next week. But before we get into that, let me show you this tape. This artwork is pretty cool, and it does have something to do with the film, actually. This is the 13th Reunion. So you've got a skeleton there holding a platter with a bunch of blood coming out, and you got Elvira there with her little stuffed cat or whatever that thing is. And then we have the same back cover. I wish they would do like more variety of the on the backs. They recycle a lot of them on these tapes, but this is starring Dina Sheridan and Julia Foster. There was actually a decent amount of actors in this that I recognized, but let me read you the back of this and then we'll get into it. So this says, I've been in the kitchen all night watching my dumplings rise and preparing a tasty 13-course terror treat for my horror fans. I was going to call this concoction Elvira al dente. but I don't think the guests at the 13th reunion would have an appetite for it. You see, the gang of gourmets are plane crash survivors who make the Donner Party look like picky eaters. I mean, like, if Julia Child came over to cook something for them, she'd have to bring a friend, and hopefully one she wouldn't miss. So don't be a glutton, just enjoy this unsavory casserole of unpleasant dreams. This artwork's all right. I mean, it's not my favorite, it's not the worst. There were some characters in this that I recognized. Norman Bird was one of them that I recognized, and I don't know what I recognize him from. I think it might be the Omen 3, but it says he was also the voice of Bilbo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings animated film, which is really interesting. And then I thought there was another one. James Cosmo says that he was in Wonder Woman, Narnia, Troy, Braveheart. I didn't get any pictures to show you guys, so if you guys want to look up, let me know what you think. Let me know if you recognize any of those people from anything. That is all I got for you guys today. So next week on Thriller Video Thursday, we're going to be talking The Cyclops, which is a classic horror film. It's actually a feature length film, which I've seemed to like the feature length ones more so far of these. So I'm super excited for The Cyclops. It also was shot at a very famous cave that a ton of Hollywood movies have used in them. But that is all I got for you guys this week. Thank you so much for hanging out. Please remember to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, unpleasant dreams.